Hey folks, Drew back with another Scarlet Violet Pokemon discussion video, which ultimately I would still say these are two games that I am enjoying. Thumbs up for them, all things considered, they are ultimately positive. However, and unfortunately, for this specific topic of discussion, I am going to have to put my hater hat on. See, it's an Angry Birds hat because I'm angry about something. The thing that I was looking forward to the most in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, from all the trailers and all of the pre-promotional content that they did, was the social aspects to it. And these are still things that I am enjoying at this point. However, it is also probably, for me, the worst part of the game, and I am finding myself incredibly frustrated by it every time I play, and it feels particularly upsetting because this was all that the game needed to be amazing in my eyes. This was going to be my next favorite gen, which was Gen 6 before this. When I first played that, I was just freaking blown away. I thought it would be the next version of that for me if this worked, and I have had it work. When it works, it's awesome. I think that's probably the main thing that I'm going off of here, is how well I know it would be good, but it is constantly breaking. The online union rooms are constantly disconnecting me, having problems to play with my friends. The online raids, which is really the major complete gripe here, are abysmal to try and do. I have completely done the story of the game. I have completed the Pokédex. I have done some shiny hunting. I've even dabbled in competitive a little bit, but the main thing that I want to do, and this was also the case in Gen 8, just something I would like to talk about at length as well, are the co-op battling features. When Gen 8 added co-op battling, I have always thought that it was and will be probably the best application of the whole Pokemon idea, is being able to battle alongside your friends against a big raid boss. Something like that, something to that end. Teaming up with your friends in some way instead of simply trading with them or simply going head to head. They do not work a lot of the time. The menus freeze. The moves seem delayed, laggy, feels sticky in my hands. Random healing of enemy health bar, things not moving in sync, desyncs going on, things that don't seem right, things going on with no indicator. There is a whole list of ways and reasons I could describe the problems that happen here, but it impedes almost every raid that I do. When it works, I have a great time, especially when I'm with my friends and we work together, but when it doesn't work, it really feels like the game is kicking you while you're down. Because, especially on the higher side, the 6-star raids and the 7-star raids are already, I don't know if I'd call the 6-star raids absolutely ridiculous, but the 7-star raids are designed to be, of course, you know, that's what they're going for. And I think that fully functioning, that is a great idea. These ultimate challenges for you to tackle with a group of friends and get into, but on top of already one-sided mechanics for the enemy Pokemon, you get these issues, you get these mechanical, logistical issues that really just make me want to throw my Switch. Honestly, I haven't happened to me and I'm like, let me out right now. Let me out right now. They were especially bad during the set of Charizard raids, but playing more of the game and just trying to keep the experience alive for me, I have found them more and more in the 5- and 6-star raids. With the more difficult the raid is listed to be, the more problematic it ends up being, because everything has to work the entire time. Probably the most detrimental issue that happens is someone gets stuck in a menu. When this happens, they are essentially taken out of the battle. They can still take damage and contribute to the timer going down, which is also an issue. I don't actually know if it matters or not. I don't really claim to know anything about this. It feels poor. When I talk to people about it, it's felt poor to them too. So I claim to know nothing, I suppose, explicitly objectively about it, but the feel of it is awful, and I was really expecting it to feel great. And it is feeling great every now and then, which is really the main unfortunate moment of all this, because the good co-op is there. The fun online is finally here for Pokemon. Being able to hang out with your friends, being able to do battles together, being able to accomplish your goal together is finally here when it works. And that was the thing that I wanted to most partake in these games. I feel extremely let down by that specifically. And this disappointment has been lingering for a long time with the Pokemon games. The era of online post-game content was ushered in with the removal of the battle frontier from the mainline game. That was a very popular facility that you could head to after the main events of the story and duke it out with the toughest battles the game could throw your way, and a variety of fun gimmicks on top of them. And of course, this was eventually supplemented by online battle competition against actual human players. But that lends itself to a gigantic if. If the online is going to supplement content, the online has to work. Games like Fortnite and League of Legends have virtually no offline content, no single player story mode to engage with, but provide near infinite amounts of online content and deliver extreme replayability that is a major component of their overall success. I can just hop into a game over and over again, feels fresh, but also feels familiar. It's the beauty of matchmaking. Nintendo, however, almost famously at this point, when bringing a classic title to the next generation, has supplemented what used to be dedicated offline single player content with ultimately lackluster online content that serves a major detriment to the experience. This can be seen extensively in Animal Crossing, Switch Sports Resort, many of the new Mario Sports titles, and Super Smash Bros, just for some examples. When they don't go half and half, they are able to deliver the peak single-player experience. Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, Pokemon Legends Arceus. These are dedicated single-player games that are all captivating masterpieces. Nintendo, also famously, does not make good online. There's something about it they just don't get yet. It's not fun. But what they seem to have learned is that modern games can use engaging online features to supplement content and create replayability that they don't have to make themselves. And it appears to be integrating it into any title that features competitive elements, and then severely dock the beloved offline components of the game's predecessors. This was certainly in play for the Gen 8 games as well, the previous titles on the Switch, but the gripes mainly had to do with menus and choices being designed poorly and working as intended rather than not working at all. And it feels as though the launch available post-game has definitely declined from those games to these ones because of these problems. I never felt broken with the controls and on-screen going-ons the way I have in this one. I did not play the Sword and Shield raids a ton. They were okay. They were fun, but quickly wore off for me unless I was trying to get something specific, like they had an event or a specific G-Max Pokemon that I wanted. The DLC is what made them so fun, and is what I am hoping for as the, well, much more than a silver lining, is what makes ultimately Scarlet and Violet great, like how I hold such a high opinion for Sword and Shield now because of the Crown Tundra specifically. The Crown Tundra fixed everything for my experience and my perception of that game. So if the DLC of Scarlet and Violet is particularly strong, adds on the mechanics that we already have established, I'm going to be very pleasantly pleased, and I'm going to look back on this as a developmental period. These games probably should be working when they are released, probably working entirely, and I'm not super thrilled that it's been more than a month now. The date specifically is January 3rd, 2023, as a point of reference for when I'm making this complaint, as far as them addressing the major bugs and glitches still plaguing most of the people playing the game. I think ultimately all of this is contributing to a lack of longevity for the games, because the longer you play the actual games, the harder it gets, the harder it feels. Not the actual difficulty of the game, the harder it gets to physically play the game, the harder it gets to keep going because things keep happening. And at the stage that I'm at, it's either shiny hunt, which is fun and works, do competitive, which has its own problems, unfortunately, but is still pretty fun, or do the offered post-game content, which is essentially the raids. Now, Pokemon has always had a social element to it that extends beyond the games, and that is still intact for me, and I think is still intact in general, but I guess the tragedy here is that it almost works. I feel like I can taste what I want, but I can't have it, if that makes sense. It's almost in reach. I'm not particularly holding out that they're gonna majorly fix everything all at once, but I think it could work. But I especially have high hopes for the DLC. I especially have high hopes for the DLC. I really think that that could bring everything together like it always does, because when they get the time, they deliver. I think is the ultimate message of the experience that I've been having for the last 10 years or so. When they get the time, they deliver what I was hoping for in the end. Hopefully that has been the experience for you as well. Ultimately, I would say that Scarlet and Violet are fine games, really and truly. Graphical bugs, mechanical bugs, generally don't bother me a ton. Glitching around never really bothered me. The key component of the social aspect of the game often being hindered by server network issues, stuff going on in the engine with the raids. I mean, they've never really gotten online, but this takes the cake. Is really all, I think, shortening the lifespan of my enjoyment on this game, and that makes me really sad. But I guess I'm just counting the days down until the DLC comes out, so hater hat off. I'm really enjoying playing comp. I think that's probably where I will find my outlet for Pokemon this time around, is playing competitive. I was banking on the actual integrated social elements, but I think I'll be able to find that in competitive. If you are listening to this, thanks first, and are feeling similar in any way, I would urge you to try getting into competitive, to getting into singles or going VGC, because as it has been for the past several gens, it's incredibly accessible. The community is large, vibrant, helpful, and it's really easy to get started and get learning with some of your favorite Pokemon. That is probably where the majority of my energy is going to be spent this time around. I don't know what the future holds. The DLC will probably change everything again, as it tends to. I'm holding out for them. I'm looking forward to it, but I'm also excited about a lot right now. This one issue, I guess, gave me a lot of pause, unfortunately. So yeah, just some quick thoughts on the longevity and current frustrations and where I feel the good and bad are going to go with the game. Can't wait to see what's in the DLC. That's all I got for you today. More stuff on the way. Thanks for watching. See you later.